Once again, the 15-minute time frame using VWAP has saved me and helped me get a cleaner read on the actual overall trend. And I want you guys to look at these same levels and approach the open the same of not getting induced into any one direction too quickly without actually looking at what the charts are telling us. So you can see we have a bearish open once sellers take control here. And at that time, the open range isn't even set, right? So I'm not really too concerned with who's in control. Let's see how the first 15 minutes shake out. You can see the opening range low actually spreads out down to there. But if you haven't already seen it, Futures 2.0 is my full strategy that I teach in ASFX TV. And actually right now, you guys can get it all for free and the live streams. If you just use code FIRST, I'll give you my entry, my exit, size, all that good stuff, right? I'll preach in there very heavily not to chase the first break of open range low. For many reasons, it's sometimes like this, inducement just to reverse the actual opposite way. But other times you'll also see that is a good price to be selling it at, but the timing, not so much, right? So when we look at it this way, we get a break above New York VWAP, but buyers quickly couldn't take control of that and get us back below lower day VWAP. So a couple people on stream were actually looking for shorts there, saying, okay, here's our lower high. Let's go make the next lower low. And now the second break of open range low rather than this first one, right? And I can see that down here on the 1 minute for sure. It's been a little bit more bearish still. Buyers are really struggling above this New York now a couple times here. But what is the actual trend? Why do I think we're going to move lower today despite these 1 minute candles, right? What levels are we at? What's the trend been doing all week? This is a Thursday. Well, if you pop it up on the left here in the 15 minute, overnight, higher high and higher low, and a pullback pre-market, and a continuation here into the open, right? The first 30 minutes or 15 minutes have been bearish, but we're right here at that overnight. Yes, breaking below it, but let's see if we get another 15-minute break below it and see if this actually isn't going to be a retest and hold. As you can see, it turned out to be the retest, hold, and pop back higher in the direction of trend, right? So my overall trend read was clearly bullish. That I'm not saying I don't see this going lower at all on the 1 minute. I'm just more comfortable saying, well, look at this week. Definitely a lot of buyers in control. So now when I take that theory down to the 1 minute, if this were to move lower and everyone wins those shorts, great, good for them. Now it's a little bit more confirmed that the shorts are in and I should be looking for shorts. I'll just sell it lower, but with a little bit more confidence that I am on the right side of things, trend is actually looking to move lower, that I don't need to be in the very first idea I have, right? Because there's a few of them. While the open range is setting, we could have shorted it down there on the break below New York. We could have chased the break above New York VWAP, this break back below, even the long back above, right? 4 ideas in 30 minutes. Which one should I choose? Which one's going to win? Which one's going to lose? So much information so quickly. Give me more information. Make it a little bit more clear that I don't need to guess or predict. I'm just reacting to what the charts are telling me. But also at the end of the day, if you did take this short, despite the 15-minute or whatever, you should never be too heavily sized in one position. I had a few coaching calls this week in the Blackstreet Club of that same problem of, first of all, oversizing on that short there. If you get stopped out with a stop loss right there, not really invalidated yet, but maybe you want to jump back in with too much size, or maybe you can't jump back in because you traded with too much size, that the best case scenario would be you take the loss as it makes a new high a day, but as it makes a new high a day, all right, new information, it's making a new high a day. The 15-minute does look kind of bullish. Yeah, that's my bad for shorting it. Now we can just read and react and look for long opportunities, right? You're not always going to be right on that first try, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket on that first try, right? So you let it drift a little bit higher, it pulls back, maybe you play the bounce play. Off of New York VWAP, you scalp that up a little bit on a break of high day VWAP. Or you play the bounce plays off of New York VWAP, you scalp that up a little bit higher, because now at this point, clearly bullish, more so than bearish, right? So if anything, that loss should have taught you, okay, what new information did that just give me that I want to pivot? Should I be looking for longs? Was I early on my shorts? No, shorts are out the window. Okay, let me look for longs. Let me use my VWAPs and find the next best trade. And hopefully you could bounce back. But if you locked yourself out on that because you're trading with top 1 futures, you have a max daily loss set in, you're done for the day, just on one guess or one trade. And that's not enough for anybody, I believe. So let's also take a look here at what level pays. Well, it's the New York VWAP. You can see the rest of the afternoon just fizzle into nothing. We'll get into that in a second. But when you look back on the day, that first, like I was saying, the first idea we could have played was actually this break back above New York. Now it's mid-range, don't love that, but it is in line with that 15-minute bias we just went over of the support of this New York VWAP, saying buyers took New York, sellers tried to take it back but failed. All right, now buyers are back in a second time. This thing might actually want to go higher because your bias is already bullish, right? If you went over like I did in the pre-market like we just showed, then you're already liking longs. You're just waiting for that opportunity, and you can ride that out for the first break of open range high, and that gives you a nice little win there. But let's say you don't take that because you're not sure if you should short it, if you should long it, whatever. The price that pays on often many days is the New York VWAP, right? So that's why if someone did short it here, I at least like that they're at that key level, because yeah, if it's going to move lower, it's going to happen from here. If it's going to move higher, it's going to happen from there. Found yourself on the wrong side of it that day, but that's okay. You gave yourself a good price if it were to work out. But later on, scalps off that same New York VWAP on a pullback, maybe this one, I don't know, that's real cherry picking to say you can make money long in that little move, but technically maybe you could, right? But just overall, the trend just went away. When if you pull up that 15-minute again, you could see that push higher for a new high, and then just stuck in this channel. I mean, definitely bullish, but not going anywhere now. So there's really one pop in the direction of trend and then just stop. And again, this is on NQ. You can go over here to ES, never made a new high a day. So even weaker, some of the pre-market still making these lower highs, but still higher lows on the bottom. Pretty ugly, but definitely more so bullish, but not a whole lot of opportunities to find that trend continuation, right? Trend wasn't continuing. So even more reason where if you can find yourself, hopefully we do trend and continue it, right? But on those off chances that we don't, if you buy it at a good price, like the New York VWAP, like the New York VWAP here, or even the break below and get back above, if you long it around this VWAP, you could definitely scalp money in a little pop. But it didn't go make a new high a day. Doesn't really matter. You made money from a great price off of a key level. Whether trend continued or not, you made money because you're on the right side of VWAP playing a great price with hopefully a good stop loss below. You have probabilities in your favor. Now, yeah, ideally, we bounce off this and make a higher high and then pull back and make another higher high. But on the off chance that we just turn into nothing, you could still make money if you have a great price, which is often going to be around these VWAPs. Now, one other thing we could also look at is the edgeful stats on this initial balance. Actually, we'll use the midnight price for this NQ one. I removed it earlier, but it's somewhere around here, right? It was floating down in the middle. That the midnight price is where we open above that 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. candle. That the sweep lower here, probably, now looking back on it, just wanted to fulfill that. If we go over here to edgeful, you can see on the ICT opening retracement, based off of the size we opened above that midnight price, 70% of the time would want to come back down and retrace to it. We could also go by weekday, and you can see by Thursday, 71. So pretty similar on both of those, that there's a 70% chance we want to go fulfill this stat before doing anything else, or maybe moving lower after that, maybe moving back higher. But the move at the open fulfills that stat, and then we come back higher the rest of the day, right? So maybe not a reason to chase the shorts. Maybe it's just retracing to that price as it wants to do 70% of the time, but that's not actually the trend. So once that's out of the way, you can believe maybe we want to move back higher away from here because there's no other stat weighing us down that we probably want to move lower, right? So definitely check that out so you guys can get on the right side of VWAP and on the stats of 70% of the time where it probably wants to go, right? And on ES, it had already hit it. But overall, 15 minutes, always going to try to save you money and not really steer you wrong. If anything, trend doesn't continue and it actually flips, well then yeah, no VWAP's probably going to save you because sentiment just changed. But on the days when it's clean retest off the overnight there, you make money in that pop. We make money off this retest at the open, you make money in that pop. Not that you can't make money away from it, right? I just believe it gets a little bit lower probability buying it up here, right? Because it could definitely want to pull back before moving higher, or it doesn't have to move higher at all. But oftentimes when we come back down to this VWAP, whether it's pre-market or at the open, it often makes a move from there. And if it's trending continuation, obviously you know which way to look. But even on the days when it breaks below it and slices and starts the day bearish, the move ultimately happened from that VWAP. So make sure you guys check that out. Also check out the streams. Like I was saying, it's free for everybody the first month if you just use code FIRST. All the daily live streams, all the recordings of them, and 2 courses with a 3rd one on the way, and an update to mine. So you almost got like 4 things coming. They're all free. Like I said, just use code FIRST. The link's always in my bio. It'll put it in there for you automatically. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you ask any questions on stream with the VWAP, with these open range levels, any of it, all right? But trade safe, trade smart. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.